Hi everyone, I'm Danny. This is Flosstube number 119 and I'm here to show you my cross-stitch progress and also my cross-stitch finish. Super happy about that. I'm not going to show it first. I thought I would show you all my other whips, the progress I made on them first. Then we talk about my finish and I do a kit review because it was a kit. And then I talk a little bit about my plans. So I think that should work and I can take as long as I want to talk about Tiger chilling out, and if you had enough, you can just switch off. But you have seen all the other progress I made because I made a lot of progress and I'm really happy about that. So let's get started. First, as always, I show you my travel project, meaning the project I take with me when I go out of the house and know that there might be some stitching time. Mostly that means going to work. But yeah, that's that project. At the moment, this project is Twisted Band Sampler by Northern Expressions Needlework. This is going to be the finished piece. Ignore that water problem over here. Basically, I had the project and the pattern in a bag together with the water bottle, and yeah, I got some water damage. Luckily, only on the pattern. I can still read everything. I got it as a PDF, so I would have been able to print it out again, but I can still read everything, so I just decided to ignore that. So this is going to be the finished piece. I show you a picture of what it looked like last time here. And I made a ton of progress with this one. This is where I'm at right now. I'm so close to finishing this. Last time you saw it, I had started this band over here, which should be band 15, I think. And I finished that, started the next Specialty Stitches band, and I'm kind of close to finishing that as well. But I feel like I should explain why I got so much progress done. It's not just work stitching. Basically, I did a little bit at work, but also on Tuesdays, I always stitch on my oldest non-full coverage piece. And for the longest time, that has been Tiger Chilling Out. So on Tuesday, once again, I started stitching on Tiger Chilling Out, and in 1.5 hours, he was done. So basically, I decided to use that day as kind of a self-care day. And I did whatever I felt like doing. I did a bit of diamond painting, I did a jigsaw puzzle, not a whole one, but I started one. I read a book, I took a bath, all those things, and I really enjoyed the day. I had off work. I did not need to go into work, so I basically had the whole day, and I was done so fast with my stitching goal that day that I just enjoyed the day with all the things I wanted to do in a long time and just never got around to do. And then I still had time left. So the next oldest non-full coverage piece is the Twisted Band Sampler. So I brought him out and I finished that band that day and started this one over here. And then I had a little bit more of work stitching, and yesterday I had a night shift at work. Night shift basically means I can stitch a lot. I do have work to do, but just not as much, and normally I can stitch while working, which during the day I cannot do. And for night shifts, I normally take bigger projects because I know I will get quite a bit of stitching time in. And I did take mini Cinderella with me, so I'm going to show you that in a minute. But I forgot to load my tablet where my pattern keeper, so my pattern is on. And it ran out, it died on me. So I went back to this project. I still had it with me, did not leave it at home, so I did more stitching on this one, and that's why I got so much done. So let's bring it a little bit closer. First of all, this is stitched on a 32 count white opalescent linen. I'm stitching 1/2 full crosses in the cross stitch bands. All the specialty stitches are stitched with one strand of floss, except for those satin stitches in band number 10. Those are done with 2 strands of floss. The needleminder is from Denka Designs. In this pattern, there's a conversion for Aurora Soir, one for DMC, one for Dinky Dies, and I'm stitching with the cord for Dinky Dies. Okay, so now let's bring it a little bit closer, what I actually did. As I said, I did those cross stitches, finished that band. Then I started over here and first did the Jessica stitches. And I know, for example, Jessie from the Jessie Marie Does Stuff, she loves those Jessica stitches. I'm not sure about them. I'm not really happy with how they look. I think they look okay, but yeah, I'm just not that much of a fan. So I did those. Then I did those teeny tiny raised stitches on both sides of those Jessica stitches. And then I did the diamond road stitch, I think it's called. And then I moved into those lattice stitches. And those were the ones I was waiting for since I started this pattern. It looks so cool. And it was so much fun to stitch those. It was really, I had a blast. It was 4 in the morning. Normally that's the time I really get tired and I have to fight to stay awake. This time, not a bit of tiredness. I was just so happy and had so much fun stitching those lattice stitches. Yeah, pretty amazing. And then I had a little bit more time left, so I started with those road stitches over here, with those next ones. So I have to repeat those road stitches, the raised stitches, and Jessica stitches in this color over here. And then there's one more cross stitch band, which basically is more of an ornament, similar to this one in the other corner. And then I'm done. So I'm really hoping to finish this project this week. I should be able to finish this week. And that's amazing. I'm really looking forward to that. So yeah, that's my Twisted Band sampler. I talked about it long enough. And hopefully next week you see it as a finish. He is in my plans a little bit. So I'm going to talk about that at the end of the video, the days I'm actually going to stitch on. Okay, next, let's move to my normal rotation. My normal rotation means Monday I stitch on my oldest full coverage piece. And Monday is also the day I stitch on golden kites. But my 3 oldest full coverage pieces are all golden kites, so that's the same thing. So on Monday I stitched on Colorado Mountains by Golden Kite. This is going to be the finished piece. I show you a picture of what it looked like last time here. And this is where I got to. So basically I had started, okay, let's do it like this. I had started a column down here, finished that column, and then did one more. So this is where I'm at right now. This is stitched on a 25 count even weave. I'm stitching 2 over 110 stitch. Needleminder is from Denka Designs. And I did not only stitch on it on Monday. So on Wednesday and Thursday, I stitch on one of my WhipGo projects. WhipGo basically is a bingo board with 25 squares. And you can put any project on there that you want to have on there with either a monthly goal or a year-end goal. I have my year-end goals on there, and each month 2 of those squares get called, and I try to stitch on those projects during that month. So this month Colorado Mountain was called again, so Wednesday and Thursday I then was stitching on Colorado Mountains. Sorry, don't know if you could hear it, but I could hear it and it was a little bit annoying. So I stitched on it Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday. I was hoping to get one more column done, but it was just no time left. And that's fine. I did 2 columns. That's nice. And this one will get a bit more progress today because it's Monday, and also a bit more later in the month. So I'm happy with that. Yeah. And today I do hope to get this column done. That would be amazing, but I'm not sure how much time I will have. We'll see about that. But yeah, this is Colorado Mountains. I love it. It looks so realistic. It's just amazing. If you get really close in real life, you can see a little bit of white fabric shining through in those darker areas. But a bit further away, no one can see it. And especially here in the video, it looks amazing. So yeah, happy with that. Can't wait to get back to this and hopefully soonish finish the page down here so I can move back up into the sky, which will be super fast stitching because it's only a few colors. Basically, the sky does not have a whole lot of confetti. Down here, the grass or the forest, those trees, don't have a whole lot of confetti. But those mountains, as you can see here, how many part threads I have in here, yeah, those are confetti heavy. And especially now I think I'm getting to a point where the forest basically aligns over here. So only that little part is left in the mountain, and a lot of the threads I do 1 or 2 stitches and have to put them away. That takes a lot of time. So we'll see how far I can get today on this one. I'm going to repeat that during my plans. Then I'm going to stitch on it today. But yeah, only today, I think. So let's see if I can get another color now. That would be pretty cool. And then on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, I always concentrate on my challenges for the Magical Stitches Mystery group on Facebook. It's a challenge group, it's a closed group, so you cannot join anymore. And basically we stitch and play a game of Clue. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to that because during March I wasn't as proactive as I should have been in that game. So I'm hoping to get back to that in April. And that's why Friday, Saturday, and Sunday are the days I stitch on my challenges. Always the weekly challenges first, and with whatever time I have left, I stitch on my monthly challenges. For the weekly challenges this week, I was supposed to stitch on something old, something new, something borrowed, something blue. Each of those prompts, 100 stitches. If I find a project that matches. And I did not really find something. At least not for all of them. So I decided to go with my big goal that are called but not yet finished, meaning the projects that got called during January, February, March, and April, and I have not yet finished my goal on, which are all of them. And I have them in a wheel in the Tiny Decisions app, and I let the app randomly decide on one of my projects, and then used that project to stitch all of my weekly challenges. Because if you take any project you like, you can add 100 stitches to your goal, and then you can stitch on whatever project you like. So with 4 prompts, each 100 stitches. To add 100 stitches per prompt means 800 stitches on one project. That's possible in 3 days. So I decided to do that. And the project that got chosen by the app was 4 Seasons by Heaven and Earth Designs. The artwork is by Jesse Gerka. This is going to be the finished piece. And I show you a picture of what it looked like last time here. And this is not always super easy to show, but we'll get there. Okay, a lot of dark threads in the way. So this is basically the whole piece. I stitched this one in 20 by 20 blocks over the whole width of the pattern before I move 1 row down and once again do 20 by 20 blocks over the whole width. And as you can see, I have now crossed the middle. So that's very exciting. I'm getting closer to the edge so I can soonish move down into the next row, which I'm really looking forward to. But what did I do? Last time you saw this, I had just started one 20 by 20 block in here. So I finished that one, stitched the next one, and then started a third one to get my at least 800 stitches. And I think in the end, I did 830 stitches. It is stitched on 25 count even weave, and I'm stitching 1 over 1 full crosses. And now let's bring those blocks a little bit closer that I actually stitched on. So as you can see, I started the path down to this little hut over here. So that's really exciting. I was really looking forward to that. And then I moved over into the next field and just going to continue on with that field until over there. So yeah, not super exciting those next few blocks, but I was really happy to have stitched this little bit of path. I'm just really happy with that. And the halfway point of the pattern, I think, is somewhere in here. So yeah, did a little bit more and am now moving over to the right side. Yeah, I love this piece. It takes a lot of work because it's full cross. But I just really love how it's turning out with basically just a few colors, considering there are 4 seasons, all with their own specific colors, and still the whole pattern only uses 89. I think that's pretty good. And I can't wait to get to the autumn part. I think that looks really beautiful. And moving forward, and I have a lot of fun stitching on this project. But it's not in my plans for next week, so that's a little bit sad. Okay, and I finished those 800 stitches, meaning I finished all my weekly stitching, or the weekly challenges. So I moved on to the monthly challenges, and the first one is stitch on your second largest whip. My second largest whip is Super Size Max Color Cliffhanger. The artwork is by Amy Stewart and charted by Half and Earth Designs. This is going to be the finished piece in about 50 years because it's big. I show a picture of what it looked like last time here. And this is where I got to. So basically I just stitched on this page over here. I did a bit more than 600 stitches. I needed 1,000 to finish my monthly challenge, so I have to get going on that and get caught up basically, because I like to do one of those monthly challenges per week, because normally there are 4 monthly challenges and in a month they are normally about 4 weeks. So that normally turns out pretty good, but yeah, I'm a little bit behind this week, but I love it. It's coming slowly, coming together. With this one, I stitch page by page. Each page I stitch cross country. And with this page, I basically started with the first 3 or 4 colors and then had stitches in every part of the page. And then decided to just go through the color list from top to bottom, take every color, and whenever there is a stitch in this page, I just finish that color and then move down the color list to the next color. So the next color that's missing, I already looked it up, is I think 728. So about halfway through. So that's that. Overall, in this pattern, there are exactly 200 colors. So it's a max color one and a lot of browns. But I really do enjoy stitching it. So those stitches are tiny. This is stitched on 40 count Newcastle linen, and I'm stitching 1/110 stitch. Yeah, I just love it. And I'm really hoping that this week I will have a bit more time to actually finish my challenge and maybe move on to the next one, because I have another monthly challenge on this project to do, and I would really love to finish that page, but we'll see about that. And then let's move to the last project, second to last project I stitched on this week. I already mentioned it. I had a night shift yesterday, so I took Mini Cinderella by Half and Earth Designs with me. The artwork is by Alexandra Daw. This is going to be the finished piece, and I show you what it looked like last time here. And this is where I'm at right now. So I think I did close to 600 stitches on this one, so pretty exciting. It is stitched on 28 count light blue even weave. I'm stitching 1/1 full crosses, needleminders from Dankai Designs. And with this one, page 1 has been done for a long time. And then I move through the pages. I always take the symbol highest up, left to right. and stitch one length of thread with that symbol. And then I move on to the next page, do the same thing, and to the next, and so on. Last time I stitched on this, I had a thread part in page number 4 that I was not able to finish the last time I stitched on this one. So I did finish that thread, which basically meant I did a lot of this border over here. Then I moved down into page number 5, took the next symbol. That next symbol had a lot of those scattered confetti stitches around here. And when I had finished my thread, I had less than 150 stitches of that color left to do in the whole design. And that meant I finished the color, which basically only was one more length of thread, all those other confetti stitches scattered around, and I finished another color, meaning I have now finished 4 colors out of 16. That's very exciting. Then I moved over to page number 6, and I did a bit more of the gray down here, and then moved a lot over here into her hair. In page number 6, there was a bit more stitching to do up here, and then a bit more in here with an off-white color. But with that, I actually finished page number 3. So page 1 and 3 are now done. And then I did one more off-white color over here that you probably cannot really see. Yeah, really happy. I had a color finish and a page finish on this one. That's really exciting, and I can't wait to get back to this. There's not a whole lot left. I think less than 3,000 stitches for this year, but I'm just really excited, and I really want to get back to this and do some more. Page 2 and page 4 are both super close to being done as well. So yeah, so exciting. I just can't wait to get back to this, and it would be amazing to have this first row of pages fully done. I always think page 5 is close to being done as well, but it just isn't. There's so much confetti left to do over here that I probably won't be able to get to that. But it would be cool. Yeah, I love it. Can't wait to get back to it. I said it before, with this one, I have less than 3,000 stitches for my year-end goal to do. And after I finish those stitches, I will stop stitching on it for the year. Except if I finish all of my goals and still have quite a bit of time left in the year, then I want to get back to this and really try and finish it. I tried to do that last year. I was a little bit late with finishing my goals, so I did not get around to do it. But it would be amazing to be able to do that this year. But we'll see about that. Yeah, so that's Mini Cinderella. And now let's move to the last project I stitched on this week, which was my big finish. So the big finish was Tiger Chilling Out by Dimensions. I show you a picture of what it looked like last time here. And this is it all done. I did not have a whole lot left to do, just a little bit more over here. So you probably won't see that big of a difference. As I said, I finished him in 1.5 hours. But I'm just so happy to have him done. He does look amazing. Those oranges and blue on the black fabric, it's just gorgeous. I love it. It's so bright and so, yeah, it's really beautiful. I love it. This one is stitched on the kit fabric, which was is an 18 count black Aida. I started in the middle. I think there's quite a good amount of margin all around. There's a lot on the top and not so much on the bottom, and I think that's on purpose because if you frame it, I think they want you to have a bit more of the black fabric on top, shining through. So it was that way in the chart as well. Basically, the halfway point of the chart was right around here, which you can see there's a lot more in the top and the bottom half than on the top. It is stitched. Basically, the tiger was stitched 2/1 full crosses by me. In the chart for this lightest yellow and the white, there was the instruction to stitch it with three strands of floss. And for the brightest yellow, I did that up here once, and I just didn't like it. It was too bulky. I thought there was enough coverage with 2 strands as well. So I decided to just do 2 strands over the whole design or in the whole tiger, and not move to 3 strands with those 2 colors. Did not think it was necessary, and with deciding that, I just never really had to look at how many strands to stitch. As soon as I was in the tiger, I knew it was 2 strands. There is a French knot for the eye. I'm actually kind of happy with my French knot over here. There was a bit of backstitching around his face and couching done for the whiskers and his eyebrows. Never before done crouching. Not sure I like it. Is it called crouching or couching? Maybe couching. I'm not sure. I'm not sure I liked it. The effect looks pretty cool. You can kind of move into those curves with the thread, which you with normal backstitching can't do. But it was a lot of effort for something I think with backstitching would have looked really similar. I did it anyways. I'm happy I did it just because I learned something new, but not sure it was necessary. The water and the reflections are basically done with 1, 2, or 3 strands of floss and half stitches. That was a bit more complicated. You always had to look up how many strands, and sometimes I think I did it wrong, but nevertheless I'm fine with that. Up here I had to frog a lot and redo. Down here I fudged a little bit because I did a mistake, but yeah, I did not care that much. Whenever I frogged, I tried to reuse the thread I had to rip out. Because when I started this one, I heard that with the Dimensions kit, you have to be really careful. There sometimes isn't enough thread in the kit to actually finish the project. So I was really careful. Whenever I had to frog something, I pulled the thread out so I could reuse it. There's still a little bit of thread loss if you do it like that, but not a lot. So I reused the thread. So I do have quite a bit left over, actually. Those threads are super long. I use them right off the thread card. If I needed 2 strands, I used the loop start, so I folded the thread, and therefore had half the length. If I needed 1 or 3 strands, I actually took it off the card, 1 or 3 strands, and stitched with the whole length. I do often stitch with quite long threads, so I did not have a problem with that. Whenever I had something left over, I punched a hole up in here and put the thread in there, because I was really, really careful not to lose any thread or anything like that. I really was careful because I was really afraid to not have enough thread. I think I have something left over in every color. A few colors, there's more left over. For example, this pinkish color over here. There's basically a whole strand left down here, so 5 strands down here, and something parked up here, because the only time I needed that color was in his snout. Nose? Whatever it's called with the tiger. And a few colors, there's just not a whole lot left. For example, this one up here. As you can see, there's nothing left down here, just a little bit of thread parked up here. But yeah, I'm really happy with how much there's left. I think I never was worried it would not be enough coming closer to the end, because I just saw how much there was still left over. Of course, from the bright yellow and the white, there's a lot left over because I stitched with 1 less strand than I was supposed to. But still, I'm really happy with how much thread I have left. Yeah, so going to show him once again when I tell another story. Last time I said something about this being the first project I actually stitched because I liked it. When I started cross-stitching, it was a very spontaneous decision to start cross-stitching. I basically was in a craft store looking for some yarn for knitting and crochet, and I had recently started sewing, not really enjoying that much as I do the other things. But I was in this craft store and just looking around. I had some time to kill, and I was just looking around. And then I saw those cross-stitch kits, and I was like, okay, I can now do knitting, I can do crochet, I can sew. I should learn cross-stitch. So I looked at those kits, and I wasn't super excited about any of those, but in the end I decided to go with the one I liked the most. And I took that with me and started it. And I did enjoy cross-stitching a lot, actually. So I went onto Amazon and started searching for cross-stitch kits because honestly, I had no idea where to get any cross-stitch or anything like that. I do not have an LNS in here. As I said, I was at that craft store and they only had tablecloths and towels to stitch on. And that's not my style. So I went onto Amazon and I found dimensions. And I found a great amount of dimensions kits. I had already started watching Flosstube when I wanted to learn cross-stitch with the first kit I bought. I went onto YouTube. I found how to cross-stitch and then I found Flosstube. And I started binge watching Flosstube. That's how I knew dimensions kits were out there and they were kind of good because a lot of people stitched them. So I saw dimensions on Amazon and I went for the picture I liked the most, which was my tiger, and started stitching when it arrived. Basically, I remember it arrived the day I left before a vacation. And I was trying so hard not to start it before I went onto vacation for, I think, a bit more than a week. I tried really, really hard. And I was so proud of myself that I made it. And when I come home from vacation, it was, I think, 2 o'clock at night, so a.m. And I came home and I started it because I couldn't wait any longer. But yeah, really happy about him. He had his 3rd birthday on the 7th of April, and I finished him 2 days prior to that. So he did not turn 3 years old as a whip, which honestly, for that little of a project, 3 years is quite a long time. But when I started him, I started in the middle, moved my way over here to kind of stitch in columns. The first year, I basically did the first quarter up here and realized I had done a mistake somewhere in here and basically had to frog a lot over here. Not happy about that. And I then needed to frog. And basically it took me close to half a year before I actually get a grip on myself and started frogging. And after I frogged, it took me nearly a year until I went back to him and restarted stitching him. And so in 2019 I started him. I think in 2020 I then finished the first quarter. 2021 I finished the second quarter. And now in 2022 I finished all of that in only a bit more than 3 months. So really happy. He's now done, and I think I talked about him for 10 minutes now, so I'm going to stop. Although I really like watching him or looking at him, but it has to be enough. So I'm going to pack him away. If you have any more questions about, I don't know, the chart or anything like that, which actually was really easy to read. I think that's the case with most dimension charts. If you have any more questions or anything like that, just ask me. I will answer them. I'm probably going to pass the stash, so pass the pattern and my leftover thread in a giveaway sometime later. you will not be able to stitch the tiger with this amount of thread. But maybe you can then compare to DMC and find your own conversion without having to rely on internet conversions, but you have the actual thread and start comparing for yourself. That's the idea. But yeah, as I said, not going to happen anytime soon. Probably. Not now, at least. Okay, that's been everything I stitched on. That's been my super big finish. My now oldest project overall is Colorway Mountains that I started on the 1st of May in 2019. Cross-stitching I started sometime around the 23rd or something of March 2019. So yeah, slowly working on my oldest projects. Now let's move into plans for this week. As I said, today is Monday, so I'm going to stitch on Colorway Mountains by Golden Kite. Today is going to be the only day I stitch on this project. As I said, it's coming out for WipGo later in the month, not this week. But yeah, that's that. Tomorrow is Tuesday, and that means I stitch on my oldest non-full coverage piece, which is the Twisted Band Sampler. And I'm kind of hoping to actually finish this one tomorrow. That would be pretty amazing. And I think I should be able to do that. So yeah, probably having a finish tomorrow. I'm really hoping to have a finish tomorrow. Then on Wednesday and Thursday, I'm going to stitch on the Chimney Sweep by Golden Kite, because it is the second project that's been called for WipGo this month. And I, once again, for my weekly challenges, spun my wheel, and the Chimney Sweep got chosen for my weekly challenges. So stitching on it Wednesday and Thursday, I really hope to actually already finish my weekly challenges on this one. This week there's only 3 prompts with 200 stitches each. This is a 10-stitch project, so I need 410 stitches each. But I should be able to do that in maybe 1 or 2 days. So I should be able to finish the weekly challenges during Wednesday and Thursday. And the next monthly challenge is I'm also going to stitch on this one. I basically need a project that starts with one of the letters in the word triumph. And it is called the Chimney Sweep. So that works. So I need another 1,000 stitches for my monthly stitching. That means I probably move into Friday or even Saturday for those. But I should be able to finish my weekly and monthly stitching challenges by Saturday. Which is pretty cool, because that means I have a bit more time left to stitch on Cliffhanger and finish the challenge from last week. Before I move forward and talk a bit more, I show you where I'm at with the Chimney Sweep. So this is where I'm at with the Chimney Sweep. I'm stitching this extreme cross country, and I start in the top left corner, always picking the colors in the first column of the first page, and then stitching it over the whole design. So far, those colors all were off-whites, so it's not super exciting yet. And it will be a bit more of those off-whites for quite a while. But well, I know it's not super exciting to show on video, but I love stitching on this one. It's stitched on 25 count, a light blue even me, so I'm stitching 2/1 10 stitch, and the needleminder is from Denker Designs. And yeah, I think I'm presently somewhere over here with my next color. So still have to finish that over there and then move down into the bottom half of the design. There are only a few confetti stitches over here with those off-whites. Basically the snow on the roofs and stuff. But yeah, that's the Chimney Sweep. So hopefully a lot of progress on this one this week, because so far I think I did 1 length thread the whole year. And I want to do 11,000 stitches this year. So I have to get going. Okay, as I said, after that one is finished and my weekly and monthly challenges on that one are finished, I then want to move to Cliffhanger to finish off my challenge. And if I then have some more time left, which I'm actually hoping, I will then move on to the next monthly challenge, which is something, stitch on something that has a secret passageway or something like that. I decided to stitch on Raven Queen by Mirabilia because she's standing in a castle, and in a castle there are always secret passageways. So I'm going to stitch on her for a little bit. At least that's the plan. I'm not sure if I will actually get to her, but it would be nice if I did, to get kind of a head start for next week's challenges. So let me show you where I'm at with my Raven Queen. This is where I'm at. Basically, I'm stitching in the background next to her dress on the bottom half, finished right side, and now I'm stitching on the left side, and that's where I'm going to continue stitching. Yeah, hopefully doing a bit more over there. She stitched on 32 count gray linen. I'm stitching 2 over 2 full crosses, needleminder from Denka Designs. Yeah, as I said, it would be nice to actually get to stitching on her and then concentrating on the background over here. So yeah, that's my Raven Queen, and that's basically all my plans. And it's getting kind of late, but I'm still going to mention it. I already made plans for Stitchmania. Not going into detail now or anything like that, but I just wanted to mention it. Basically, I'm doing some kind of monogamania. I'm going later in the month. I'm going through all my projects and figure out how much I have left to do until my year-end goal is done. For the full coverage projects, that's pretty easy because I have a stitch count goal and I know how many stitches I already did and how many are left. For the non-full coverage projects, I have to kind of estimate it, but I think I can figure it out, and then I make a list. And the project where I'm closest to finishing my year-end goal will be on the top of the list, and the project where I have the most to do will be at the bottom of my list. And during Monogamania, I'm going to start stitching with the first project on the list, stitch it until my year-end goal is done, and then move on to the next project. So hopefully during May I will be able to knock out a few of my goals. So from June moving forward, I have not as many projects left to do and can concentrate on those a little bit better, and hopefully making good progress on those during those next months, because there aren't as many projects I have to divide my attention to, and can concentrate on a few for longer. At least that's the plan. So yeah, that's so far my Stitchmania plans. I'm going to talk about that in 2 weeks, I think, a bit more. So when I have the list ready, or more or less ready for you then, and we can talk about the first 3 projects I'm going to stitch on then. Okay, that's now been it. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you have a wonderful week. Happy stitching, and I'll see you next Monday. Bye!